Hey everyone! In this video, I'm going to explain a basic classroom management skill that I have used in my home life to make my parenting far better. Proactive versus reactive parenting. But before we get started, here's a little parenting joke. If you think 7 years of bad luck are too much for breaking a mirror, try breaking a condom. All parents have to deal with the same situations. Some do so far better than others. Proactive means controlling a situation by making things happen or by preparing for possible future problems. Proactive people are the natural teachers, the natural parents, the natural-born leaders. They know how to get organized, and they get organized well in advance. On the other hand, reactive means done in response to a problem or situation, reacting to problems when they occur instead of doing something to prevent them. Reactive people either don't know how to organize an activity or are too lazy to go to the trouble. Consequently, they must react to the disaster that has been created by a lack of structure. One of the most illustrative examples of the difference between proactive and reactive parenting is the use of the phrase, "be careful." Parents both good and bad use this phrase. The difference is in what comes next. Proactive parents use the phrase, "be careful," in conjunction with instruction. They're going to tell their kids what to do in order to be careful. For reactive parents, "be careful" is the instruction. When I was first taking my son out for a walk in which we would need to cross a street, I simply grabbed his hand harder and told him, "stay," when we got to a crosswalk. And if he tried to run out into the street, I would yank his arm back and tell him, "don't do that. You gotta be careful. This is a dangerous area." I was reacting to his natural inclinations, as opposed to planning out what I was going to say far in advance. Reactive parenting like that is lose-lose. Not only does it upset the child, but you miss out on a valuable teaching moment. In addition, the parent also feels like crap. No one wants to go through a situation where you're yelling and losing control of your emotions. I knew this situation was unsustainable and that I could do better. So before our next walk, I sat down and thought, what could I do to make the situation better? How could I use this as a teaching moment and a bonding moment for my son? And what I do is simple. As we start to approach a crosswalk, I have my son identify what color the light is. And then he narrates what we should do in conjunction with that color. In using this proactive procedure, I'm able to transform the crosswalk into a classroom. I can teach my son about rules of the road and traffic safety, how to cross the road by himself. But I'm also able to get down to his level, to look him in the eyes, and have a warm and friendly conversation instead of barking orders. As you can see, this type of proactive parenting is much better for both the child and the parent. It's a win-win. We're not only learning traffic safety, but we're also bonding. Here's another situation that every parent will eventually find him or herself in. Let's imagine that you have a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old, and you're planning to visit grandmother next week. She lives 3 hours away. What will you do to get ready for this trip? Every parent knows what the trip to grandmother's would be like without some type of organization. Proactive parents are in charge, and they're actively planning and organizing the trip to grandmother's well in advance. Reactive parents? Not so much. Proactive parents see the problems that might arise in this situation far in advance, and they have an entire routine built around the smooth operation of the car and the people in it. Proactive parents set their kids up for success in events like these. They might prepare snacks and drinks, have some coloring books and new crayons. They'll definitely make sure to fully charge the battery of everyone's electronics. They're not thinking one step in advance, they're thinking 10. Reactive parents don't think this way. They just put the kids in the back seat and take off down the road. You can only imagine what happens next. Before they've gone a half mile, the big kid takes something from the little kid lets out a shriek and grabs it back, the big kid shoves the little kid hits the big kid, which is always a bad idea, and the big kid whacks the little kid, who starts crying. And of course, one of the parents turns around and snaps. I want you to stop this fighting right now. You sit on your side, and you sit on your side. And I want both of you to keep your hands to yourselves. I don't want to listen to this fussing all the way to your grandmother's. The parent might not want to listen to that fussing, but they will. Having no plan to prevent it, they must now live with it. There is a pattern of speech to reactive parenting. We all know it. That pattern of speech is nag, and then nag, and finally nag some more. For example, I am sick and tired of coming into your room and seeing your clothes all over the floor. Let me tell you something. I was not put on this earth to spend my entire life picking up after you. Have you ever heard this kind of speech? I know I sure have. Now, what has this parent failed to do? They failed to train the child to perform. They've given a reprimand instead of an order. They yelled at the kid instead of instructed them. How about saying something like, pick up after yourself? It either goes in the closet or in the hamper. Which one do you think will get a better reaction from the child? Don't lose sight of the fact that you're not begging or pleading or even asking the kid. You're just giving a clear, concise, and easy to follow direction that the kid can follow to great success. What sets proactive parents apart is not their goals and objectives, but rather their procedures. Proactive parents know how to organize an activity in order to get things done. In order to get things done right the first time, every time.